What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to give you a little update on my car. If you've been following my videos, and hopefully the right ones, you'll see that I posted a video showing all the parts that I've accumulated for I think like a little over a year, which is basically everything that's going to be done to the car. And then I also posted some other stuff showing parts like the coilovers and the fuel rails and killer P-oil pickup tube. And I think this one shows like what my engine bay looks like right now and what my inside the car looks like, my gauges and my setup. Anyways, I went over to my mechanics today and I wanted to inquire about now that I have everything and it's all written down on paper. What does he think the cost might be, and how long it might take, and when I might be able to get in, and all that. And also just to look over and make sure that I didn't forget anything. But so we started. I've been collecting parts for over a year, and I was asking him here and there, like, what do you recommend for this and for that. So it's reasonable that he doesn't remember every single part that I bought. So he was kind of asking me here and there, like, do you have a header on your car already, and what kind of, do you have the stock fuel pump and this and that. Which this list right here, this is all the stuff. I have more than this, but I mean these are the main things that are already on my car. So no, I don't have a header, but I have the Crosspipe, I have the Uppipe, air wheel separator, I got a crank pulley, I got the spark plugs already, methanol, I got the fuel pump, a better map sensor, I got a Turboback exhaust, electronic boost controller. So those are, they're not necessary, but they're the main things that'll help with the build, help the turbo and all that. And so yeah, he was asking about that, and I told him I just have the Crosspipe and Uppipe. And he said, okay, well, if you want to keep those, then we can just he can just port out the manifold elbows that connect them together, because those are still the original ones. Because I don't want to buy a whole new header. I mean, to me this is good enough, at least for now. The only reason I would buy one is to switch from unequal length to equal length, but I'm not going to put all my money into this car just to hate the sound of it. I don't want it to sound like a weed eater. I love the boxer rumble, and for me, I'd sacrifice a little performance just to keep it. So that's what I'm going to do in terms of that. But yeah, he asked about that, and then he asked about the fuel pump, and then he asked if I had the Killer Bee pickup tube, because that could break eventually over time, the stock one. And then when he was on that subject, he mentioned that he's just going to pull the motor out of my car, because it'll be easier. I've never done it, but I've watched videos and I've looked under the car, and if you've ever tried to install the Killer Bee oil pickup tube, then you'll know that you can't just lift the car off the ground, get under it, and just pull the oil pan apart from the car. It won't. There's not enough room to get to the screws or bolts that hold it on. So you actually have to jack the motor up off the car, off the, what do you call them, the struts that it sits on. At least enough to get a tool in there, probably a swivel type tool, in order to get it out, which really you want as much space as possible, because once you take down the oil pan, you're going to scrape it clean, and then you need to put the stuff around it that you used to seal it back, because you have oil in there. It needs to be sealed properly. But anyways, so he just decided, I'm just going to pull the motor, and I said, cool, and that's when his friend slash helper that helps him, this is his own shop, so Joseph was like, are you going to do a build? Are you have internals or whatever? And I said no. I was just, this is all the stuff I have for now, mainly the turbo and the stuff that goes along with it to make it work. The air coming in, air going out, exhaust going out, fueling, fuel pressure regulator, all that stuff. Plus I have a ton of extra stuff that I don't need, you know, like the thermostat, the cylinder brace, the Okada coils and boots. You know, I have a lot of really nice things, but they're not needed for the upgrade. You know, they're not necessary. I got front and rear strut towers. Yeah, very bad. Very bad. But anyways, so he mentioned, you know, why don't you just do a full motor build? And I said, yeah, you know, I'm planning on it, but I was planning on doing it later. You know, I was hoping that Andy would put all the stuff in my car now and tune it, and then I could enjoy that while I save up for the parts. But Joseph said, you know, it'd probably be better just to hold out, save up a little more now and buy it, and, you know, have patience and wait, and then once everything's together, then have Andy install it and tune it and everything, because, you know, and then Andy chimed in and said, you know, that would probably be better, because then I wouldn't be paying him twice for the labor, because, you know, he'd end up just taking the motor out again and doing everything again, and, you know, and I was even thinking about just doing pistons, but there's no sense for him to tear apart my block just to install pistons and then seal it all back up again. You know, you might as well do what you need to do while the motor's in half. So that's kind of what we decided before I left. So yeah, I need to get back with my mechanic Andy, and I'm not for sure like the specifics on each parts. I mean, you know, I know about rods, and I know about valves and camshafts and pistons and ring lens and all that. You know, I know what that stuff is, but, you know, the actual specific, like, models and all that, the sizings, I don't know. You know, I think I'm just going to keep my car, for the most part, stock bore, as far as, like, the cylinder walls and all that. I think he was talking about heads that were already ported out, so I guess, I don't know, I might pay him and then swap. He'll keep my stock ones and I'll get ported ones, I'm not sure. And I still need to meet up with him again and get the specifics and you know, get a number that I need to pay him for these parts. But yeah, you know, exciting news. It's gonna take longer, but I'm gonna go for a fully built motor. Yeah, and I was actually looking at stuff in the past. I know you don't really need this for a fully built motor, but I was looking at this drive shaft, and then what else was I looking at? I had the skid plate for underneath. These hold the motor. Motor mounts. This is, I'm guessing, what you would use to seal back up the motor, and all the gaskets and stuff. And then he was talking about, I think he was talking about a nitrate crankshaft. He didn't. I don't think he mentioned cams. I don't know if I'm gonna get those or not. I know he asked me in the past, you know, what cams you getting, and I was like, I'm not doing a fully built motor. And then he's like, you're not? So I think in a way he kind of just wanted me to be patient and just do a fully built motor anyways, because, you know, I could slap all these, the turbo and all that on there, but if it's still cast internals, there's still a chance it could break apart, you know. And the studs, valve springs. Wow, you cannot see that at all. Yeah, those are the rods. Pistons. I think he mentioned Wiseco. Said the price went up or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, that is pretty much my news. Went there to see about putting all the parts that I currently have into my car, and pretty much changed my game plan. I'm gonna be try to be patient, so you know, a little longer. I need to get with him on, you know, I need to see if I can get him to write down or email me the parts, you know, all the ones that I'm going to need. You know, if I can get him to tally up a number, I think I have the money now to get all the forged parts, but then I'll have to save up for the build, because, you know, it's going to be more money, or it should be, more work, right? So, yeah, I figure I'll drop by next week and, you know, ask him if he could see about getting me a price. You know, I don't want to bug him or nothing, but, you know, I still need to keep on top of this and find out everything, because, you know, I'm the type of person that likes to be prepared. So I want to, when I go to him, I don't want to waste his time. You know, I don't want to go there with no money. I want to have all the money ready. I want to have all the parts with me that I need. You know, I want everything ready to go. Yeah. Yeah, this is this car right here. It's at Coffee and Cars. I think this was like September 2012. Yeah, but yeah, this car is pretty beast. I think it's like over 500 to the wheels, something like that. It's an 05 WRX that he fully built, 6-speed transmission. Still running the top mount intercooler, and the thing is a monster. If you see this thing in Oklahoma or anywhere else, do not try to race it. He will destroy you. He's only running 91 in methanol. Let's see, where did, oh. Yeah, so yeah. So that is my news. I am eventually going to go fully built motor. Yeah, so, you know, what do you guys think? I'm curious to know. You know, I have an 07 STI. I just hit 40,000 miles on it. I'm running 91 octane. I'm running a methanol injection kit with a size 7 nozzle. Let's see if I can get. I'm gonna run a stock location GTX 3076R turbo, and then I'm gonna have a Tial 44mm external wastegate come off. Let's see, where is it? It's gonna come off. Man, I'm blind. It's gonna come off of a Grimmspeed 44mm Uppipe with an external wastegate end. And then I'm pretty much going to have, I guess it'll be like 44mm headers is kind of what it's going to become, because it's all going to be one solid part, just put together. Invidia N1 Racing Turboback exhaust, so 3-inch. No restrictions or anything like that. I've asked my mechanic to redo my intercooler piping. The piping that came with my AMR kit, I'm very dissatisfied with. It runs the complete wrong way. It's a 90-degree bend right out of the turbo, so it's, you know, in my opinion, it's restricting. You know, you want it to go pretty much straight across, so it should be flowing the other way. You know, so he's gonna redo that for me. He has a universal kit, I think, at his shop, and he's just gonna weld it and weld some support brackets and all that so it won't rattle. I'm going to be running Okada coils and boots and one-step cooled spark plugs, so that should help with you know, just overall running of the car. I'm going to have the composite TGV deletes. What else? I'm going to have the air oil separator running with an oil catch can. Help keep it out of the air intake. I got those. I'm going to be using those Kinogawa fuel rails, and then I guess he's going to make some steel braided lines to go with that. Air motor fuel pressure regulator. What else? And I'll have the 3-bar map sensor, Grimmspeed electronic boost controller, lightweight crank pulley. And then of course, whatever internals Andy thinks I should get. You know, again, he had mentioned to me crankshaft, and he had mentioned piston, and then I'm assuming, you know, rods and the what is it, crankcase bolts or whatever you call them, the bolts, head studs, whatever you call them, and then I'm assuming bearings and all that, but I don't know about valves or like the valve springs or the camshafts. I don't know. I know usually if you want to go for like huge power, yeah, you need to do all that. But you know, I'm not sure what he's thinking. You know, he's a genius at what he does. He really is. You know, I mean, he's certified Subaru and whatever, but I mean, the guy could build one in the dark, you know, without even looking at it. He just knows by feel, knows by sound, if it's running good, if it feels, you know what I mean? Like, the dude is just like the king of Subaru. So, you know, and a lot of these things involving the actual internals of the motor, I myself have no clue about, so I really want to just leave it in his hands and, you know, let him do his thing, you know, because I know it'll turn out great if I do. Yeah, out of all the cars that's come out of his shop, his car, in my opinion, is like the best one that's come out of there, just because, you know, he was his only input in that car. He built it, you know. He didn't have somebody telling him, you know, I want this no matter what. Because, you know, he has a lot of experience. He has really good opinions. So, yeah, that's why I really want to try to give him as much creative freedom as I can. Let him do with it what he will, you know. Yeah. And he also, he said I should probably get a clutch, at least a clutch. I guess I could probably run my stock flywheel, or might have to get a new one, I'm not sure. But he had mentioned competition full face, I think organic clutch. I'm guessing at least stage 2. So it's, you know, it's not going to be a 6-puck or a 4-puck, you know, those are, I think those are kind of hard to engage and they're kind of chattery or whatever, but it'll be a full face organic one, I think. It's a little easier because, you know, the whole point of this is to build it up and all that and then see what it'll make while still keeping it on like a conservative tune, but keeping it also traffic friendly, you know. If I have to trailer this thing everywhere, then there's no point. You know, I want to be able to drive it everywhere and have tons of power, but also have control and keep the fun factor in it. Yeah. So yeah, what do you guys think? Hopefully, I don't know, 6-8 months from now, hopefully I'll be rolling around in a fully built 07 STI that's super solid and only on a conservative tune. A conservative blended hybrid tune. Alright, well, as always, stay tuned. I am super obsessed with my car and I will never stop, so you will see more videos in the future. Peace.